The new word for the week is Zoom bombing. And in case you're not familiar with this term, this is where a outside individual hijacks your web meeting. This has become an ongoing problem, and there's all kinds of stories in the news about it. Wanted to offer a couple of quick suggestions as it relates to how to better manage your web meetings and ensure you don't get hijacked. The first thing is set a password. You have the ability to have participants use a password to access your meeting. If you set up a password, they'll have to input the password first, and it'll only be available to those that have the password shared with them. There's a virtual waiting room. I don't know if you've ever used the waiting room process where it sticks everybody into a queue, and you can move people in and out of the waiting room during the meeting. Randomize your meeting IDs. So one thing that makes Zoom convenient is being able to have the same meeting ID, or anytime you can activate the meeting on demand. However, that does allow anybody and everybody to use the same ID and get access to a meeting that's either already going or a meeting that is set in the future, but someone already knows the password and access to get in. Lock a meeting after it starts. So one of the most irritating things in the past on meetings has been when the moderator starts the meeting and they still have a slew of people joining. Especially if you have an audio beep when people jump into the bridge, it becomes extraordinarily distracting. A good way to keep the meeting to just the pertinent folks that are on is by having the meeting lock once it is started. A couple safety features. So disable file transfer and use a file sharing program. So instead of using the file transfer feature built into Zoom, use a third-party file transfer, preferably one that you guys have vetted up front and have verified have the proper security clearances and security concerns taken care of in advance. Another cool feature is the ability to limit screen sharing. So this is a great collaboration tool. However, there may be situations where you don't want people to be able to share inappropriate data or any data at all, and you do have the ability to lock the screen sharing feature on Zoom meetings. You also have the ability to mute everybody upon entry. This is a good one, and one that you may find should be always on, and then manually go back in and unmute folks as required so that it is not disruptive to the call. One last cool feature is Zoom does have the ability to do a virtual background. Now, it does require a solid wall or a solid color behind you, but it's a great way to be able to block your location just so someone can't tell where you're physically at when you're in your meeting. Hopefully you found these pointers helpful. Stay safe and stay healthy out there, and have a great afternoon.